Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, no subject is off limits. We are your hosts today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to, hey, Glory. I felt the quickening in my spirit. The glorious, the wonderful Glory, the mother of all mothers. She is Saint Jasmine, the first, my wonderful wife, Dr. Jasmine Blair. We got a good one for you today, as always.
Welcome everybody to the F3 podcast. Shout out to all of our longtime viewers and first-time viewers. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the little notification bell in the corner so you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. And remember, no subject is off limits because we will talk about what your pastor wants. So we've got a really good topic for you all today. Today we're going to be talking about titles, and now this is a us problem. We just gonna jump right into it. This is a us problem. You know, we like to do the utmost with this highest sometimes when it comes to titles. Now, let me preface this by saying this. Of course, we believe in honor. We believe in, the elders at Root Well should be worthy of double honor. You should honor, especially during this month, is Pastor's Appreciation Month. So if you have not done so, tell your pastor thank you. Appreciate them for putting up with your hard-headed self. Buy them a cup of coffee, lunch, dinner, something just to let them know you love them, you appreciate them, and you thank God that they not tired of you and all of your mess and for everything that they've done for you. But again, we tend to do a little too much sometimes when it comes to titles, and we got to find out at what point is it too much. Now let's backtrack a little bit before we really get into the topic. We got to do a little bit of backtracking and comparison, because see, they don't do all that. I mean, they could be the bishop of 85 districts. Oh, I'm Brother Dale. Just call me Brother Dale. Now, again, there may be some false humility there. I believe if you're pastor or bishop or apostle or reverend or whoever you are, you should be addressed as such and honored as such until you've been given that permission to call them something else. But a lot of time, I'm just Brother Bob. I'm just a servant of the Lord. And in a black church, God forbid you mispronounce their title. God forbid you accidentally call them pastor and they're an apostle. They're gonna rebuke you.
Yeah.
So why do you think why do black people get so extra? It's been some pastors, they had their job. Well, I'm Pastor Bob. No, you're an employee. You're Bob today, right. Associate.
Right.
Why are black people so uptight about titles and reference? Why do you think that is?
I think it honestly goes back to what we went through from slavery all the way up until now. Black people are used to being discriminated against.
Yeah.
So that whole thing has been so ingrained in our soul that it becomes the makeup of our character, to where we gonna make sure we ain't belittled.
Yeah.
Nowhere. And I believe in I don't believe in belittling people. I believe in respecting all people. Because I don't let nobody belittle me.
Right.
All right. But see, there's a healthy way to do that, right? And it's depending on the place that it's coming from. Black people have a tendency, I'm just saying I feel Negroes have a tendency of taking everything overboard, because I think part of it too is we refuse to divorce the black struggle.
Yeah.
So we end up becoming the oppressor to one another. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, we end up becoming because we are repeating the trauma that's been done to us, and we do it to each other. And then we still blame the white man for our oppression, when really we're the ones responsible for our own oppression today.
Right.
Not yesteryears, but today we are the ones responsible for our own oppression. Because I mean, if there can be black millionaires and billionaires and all that other stuff, then there's not a whole lot of systematic racism, like people say. But anyway, but the point is, when it comes to titles, we want to feel important. right? We want to feel important. Look at the black family structure, right? Look at the black family structure to where if you have older cousins, you got to call them aunt. What is that? That's dumb. Okay, if you want to show some type of respect to your older cousin, just call them cousin so and so.
Well, that's your cousin. Can't call them by their first name. That's disrespectful. So call them aunt or uncle. But
That's dumb. My
then we
family do that. That's
then we're
stupid.
lying at that point because they're not
Yeah.
really an aunt or an uncle.
I grew up thinking that certain people in my family was really my aunt and uncle. Then when I got older, I felt played.
Listen, so if you listening, y'all, and if you do that, don't. Let's go ahead and break that generational curse now.
Yes.
Stop predisposing your children to lying by calling people a relative that they not. Don't do that. Do not even
My
set
kids ain't gonna
yourselves
be
up for
around none
that.
of that. But
No.
but 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 because again, we don't understand our own self value as individuals, so we start parading that around the church. I set up my old apostle from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was known as chief apostle. You could not call her apostle. You could not call her apostle. She would correct you.
Mm.
We was trained to correct people that would call her apostle.
And I'm just thinking about somebody that just got saved. They off the street. They don't really know a whole lot. A lot of people will call you pastor or reverend or bishop or something because they're trying to show respect with what language. You see what I'm saying? Well, what little language or little do right that they have.
Yeah.
And you can turn people away. Well, that's apostle or that's chief. They're just like, okay, well, I call most people know when you go to church, at the very least, they pastor so and so.
Right.
Even though we know that's not all the way accurately right. We know every organization does something different. I mean, they're trying. They don't do it in a disrespectful sense. So we've got to keep in mind somebody can mistitle you or mislabel you, but it's the intention behind it where you need to hop on, what we need to address, or if you need to check a person or correct a person or however. We
Yeah.
got to do so. Now let's get into the meat of this topic. So for those of you that are familiar with the church world, church streets, church news, you already heard about the passing of Bishop C.M. Bailey. He passed away back in August.
Sweet
But
daddy.
yes, his he is known as Bishop Sweet Daddy Bailey. Now let me read
Woo!
this article. So for those of y'all that are fact checking, this article is on the Washington Informer, and it is titled "Bishop C.M. Sweet Daddy Bailey Dies." Bishop leader of 137 congregations nationwide, and is written by Hamill R. Harris. And again, this is August the 24th. So if you want to go fact check and go look this up, you can find the information on the Washington Informer. It says Bishop C.M. Sweet Daddy Bailey of the United House of Prayer of all people of the Church of the Rock of the Apostolic Faith
Good God.
died. Oh, let me say that again. Bishop C.M. Sweet Daddy Bailey of the United House of Prayer for all people of the Church on the Rock of the Apostolic Faith
Good God Almighty.
died August 11th in Philadelphia while he was conducting the national convocation of the church that has 137 congregations nationwide. Bishop Bailey, 73, has served as the leader, spiritual advisor, and sole trustee of the United House of Prayer for all people for the last 15 years. He was the fourth leader of the church, which was founded by Bishop Cabo Verdine Marcelino Manuel da Graça, also known as Daddy Grace. In
Woo! It's a lot.
1919, Daddy Grace built the first United House of Prayer for all people in West Wareham, Massachusetts, and incorporated the House of Prayer for all people in Washington, D.C. in 1927. So let's pause there. So Daddy Grace was the original founder. And so everybody, again, Sweet Daddy Bailey was Bishop Bailey was the fourth sole trustee and overseer, spiritual advisor. So everybody who succeeds has some form of Daddy Grace's namesake within their um their name title.
Mm.
And so this has been going again. He founded this in 1919. So at this point, this has been known to, this has been normal to them for well over 100 years. So it says the United House of Prayer for All is one of the most unique churches headquartered in the national capital, from their annual Memorial Day celebrations that feature brass bands to their firehouse baptisms for new members. The church continues to have a huge presence in Washington, D.C., with several houses of worship and a row of apartment buildings along the 7th Street Northwest.
Mhm.
So they are doing good in the community. They own
property.
apartment, they own property, they own apartment buildings. So even though it's weird, they are doing a communal work. Their presence can be seen over the last 100 years. In addition, the church has several restaurants featuring Southern cuisine. Daddy Grace was succeeded by Walter Sweet Daddy McCullough and Bishop Daddy S.C. Mason. At the time of his passing, Bishop Bailey was in the greater Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area conducting the 97th annual Holy Convocation of the House of Prayer. So then it goes into his life. Oh, but look, Bishop C.M. Bailey was a native of Newport News. Why am I not surprised? Wow. See, and I say it because we've done workshops and we've done different things on church history. We've talked about the slave Bible. We've talked about, it seems that all of these, but the majority of these people that are heavily rooted and heavily involved in various ministry organizations, various denominations, somewhere there's a tie back to Virginia. It's always a tie back to here somewhere. Before becoming only the 4th national leader of the non-denominational Christian organization, Bishop Bailey previously pastored in Augusta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Also having served as apostle of the United House of Prayer, Bishop Bailey was the leader over all congregations in the states of Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana. He was a member of the church's highest ecclesiastical body, the General Council of the United House of Prayer for All People. Bailey was elected as bishop in 2008 after the passing of Bishop S.C. Mason. So he's done his time, like they say in ministry. I've done my time and I've served in ministry. But why do we gotta call the man Sweet Daddy Bailey? Now, rest his soul. I'm sure he is rejoicing in heaven, and we thank him for his service to the body. But I mean, we all grown. We all are hearing this, and there's just something that's it's not kind of sitting right in my spirit.
It's precious, Sweet Daddy.
So that's who took over now. The new person, Bishop McCullough, they are sweet. They are now known as Sweet Precious Daddy. It's Cunningham. I'm sorry, Cunningham. Sweet Precious Daddy Bishop. Sweet Precious Daddy Cunningham. That's
people think biblical titles are enough, right? They think biblical titles are too much. Okay, we have a problem calling people apostle. We have a problem calling people bishop, right? And then, of course, you have like archbishop. That can be debated scripturally. Chief apostle can be debated and defended scripturally. Master prophet. You see what I'm saying? So that's something people consider to be kind of extra biblical, but it can be defended biblically.
And you still have a lot of people that ain't trying to hear that.
They ain't trying to hear that. But see, they're not. You got people that only believe pastor. That's it. Pastor. Why do we got to go by titles anyway? You have people like that.
This makes it harder, though.
It does.
It's hard to convince people when we have stuff like this. And again, I don't know the denomination. I'm sure they're doing a great work. Obviously, if they have had enough competence and enough momentum to survive over the last 100+ years, they own restaurants, they own apartment buildings. We thank God for the work that they are doing. And I sincerely mean that. But Sweet Daddy, precious Sweet Daddy.
Man, listen, that's something you say in the bedroom. That's what you say to your husband in the bedroom. Precious Sweet Daddy. See, that's something you say in the bedroom. That ain't something you say to your leader.
That's yes, it's giving weird. It's giving weird.
Precious sweet daddy. Now you have people who call their spiritual father dad or
Hmm.
or father. They call the priest in the Catholic
Right,
and Orthodox Church father.
right.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with like dad or father or whatever. But precious sweet daddy,
Even just sweet daddy by itself is just
sweet daddy.
it's giving weird. I'm not. I
I wish somebody would call me.
I think I would just have to like not go to the event. Like if I had to say that out of respect, because I don't want to dishonor the person, I would just
I'm
have to
gonna call
like
you Bishop.
I would just have to either say bit or just be quiet and just or just not go and then just I can't that's weird.
I'm not
I'm
calling.
not comfortable with that. Respectfully, I'm not comfortable with that.
You know.
Like, okay, so this is faith, family, and finance. Like, how do you, and I mean this very sincerely, how do you explain to your kids the concept of calling the bishop sweet precious daddy? Like, how do
They
you
grew up in that culture. Our son ain't calling nobody precious sweet daddy. He ain't gonna call me that. Okay, we ain't doing no precious sweet daddy over here. You know. Now, I'm the head of my house. I'm the head of my family. So I'm King Big Daddy right here. But that ain't no religious title. This is a religious title. When I say I'm King Big Daddy, okay, and you call me okay, but anyway, yeah, I'm King Big Daddy over here. I'm King Dingaling, okay, but that ain't no religious title. You won't hear that in church.
No,
Okay,
that's
you
weird.
that is man. Listen. I'm all for honoring your man and woman of God. I'm all for celebrating them. I
Right.
think I think great leaders are severely dishonored. All right, but we got to draw a line. Okay, let me say it again. We got to draw a line, y'all, because all this,
Hmm.
and then I mean. I remember, they made fun of the man too.
Mm.
Dude came in, the one who just died. He came in on a chariot. Well, they
Yeah.
came in. They brought that man on well, I'm gonna be nice and leave that alone. But
Yes.
they brought him in on a chariot. Okay. Uh, I joked around and said, next time this is how I want to be carried into service.
Mm.
You know, they came on that man on a chariot. I'm not against the honor though. Over there in the East, they honor their leaders.
Right.
I'm talking about good leaders, great leaders. They honor their leaders in a specific way. Over here in the West, we offended with that.
Right.
But you can tell with some of these people, it's something extra. The man just stands up, he comes down, and he just start collecting money. Money, money, money. I bet you them sweet daddies be loaded.
Now let's read about his successor. So this is actually on the United House of Prayer for All People of the Church on the Rock for the Apostolic Faith
Whew, that's a
website,
long. I thought our name was long.
and it says the title is United House of Prayer for All People announces election of Bishop A.D. Cunningham as national leader. Precious sweet daddy. It says in the article is from October the 14th, 2023. On October the 13th, the United House of Prayer for All People gained a new bishop, the Honorable A.D. Cunningham, as spiritual advisor of the 137 congregations nationwide, chief executive officer and sole trustee for all church holdings. Bishop Cunningham was elected overwhelmingly by a special called session of the General Assembly of the United House of Prayer convened at the church's national headquarters location called God's White House in Washington, D.C. He was formally installed. Stop. He was formally installed and held his service as bishop on that same evening. Bishop Cunningham succeeds the late Bishop C.M. Bailey, Sweet Daddy Bailey, who selected the then Apostle A.D. Cunningham to serve as the organization's senior minister. In that position, he became the acting chief executive after August the 11th at the passing of Bishop Bailey, ensuring the House of Prayer's bustling membership and various ongoing programs and efforts were uninterrupted and allowed to thrive even during the leadership transition. Additionally, then, Senior Minister Cunningham also oversaw the nationwide viewings of Bishop Bailey as well as the funeral services, reconvened the organization's 97th annual Holy Convocation in Charlotte, North Carolina, and worked with the highest ecclesiastical body of the church, the General Council, to perform the annual financial audit of the congregations located on the East Coast and Southern regions. He was previously the pastor of 3 congregations in the United House of Prayer. While pastoring in Greensboro, recently in Washington, respectively, he held supervisory responsibilities in all congregations of the region. So again, he served his time. He's well versed. He is well decorated, well honored, well qualified for this position. And we thank God for life and ministry. And my prayer is that he's able to continue on as they do the work of the ministry and they continue to expand their vision and continue with the United House of Prayer for All Peoples, for the Church on the Rock, with the Apostolic Faith. But sweet precious daddy, though, so we've gone from sweet daddy to sweet precious daddy. This thing done flipped and escalated now. Bishop Sweet Precious Daddy Cunningham.
Next time gonna be Sweet Precious Jehovah Jr. Some people say they're a cult though. I don't know.
I've heard that.
Never
I don't
been.
know. Yeah, I've never been to any of their events. So I don't know.
I don't know.
I
was told sometimes people come to the front, they bow to Daddy Grace picture and stuff like that.
I think we throw that word cult around too much though. We're quick to label something that we do not understand, something that doesn't sit right with us, or something that doesn't fit our view. So I think maybe you should consider going, or maybe watching some of the teachings or whatever to get a feel. I think that's a whole nother topic because we throw that around too much. But I don't know. Everything that I have read to you is on the internet. This is public information. At this point, I'm just commentating from a journalist point of view, and giving my personal opinion. I think that's kind of weird. Like, can he just be Bishop Cunningham? Like, the sweet precious. I'm sure they don't say that now. They didn't put that on the website. Now they're not stupid because they didn't put Sweet Precious Daddy on the national website.
Right.
But it is a known.
It is a known thing. At least Kojic presiding bishop he's known as the presiding bishop,
right,
and chief apostle.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, those two we can kind of debate scripturally and find things, but he has his own title as bishop. But then,
yes,
it describes his office,
right,
and his service to the church as presiding bishop, chief apostle. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Sweet Daddy J. Drew Sheard, presiding bishop. Presiding bishop is Sweet Daddy Apostle of all the churches of God in Christ. He ain't doing that. You see what I'm saying? So but one thing I have to admire about these people though,
mm-hmm.
Just from the outside looking in, their unity, or at least that's what it looked like. They're unified as a body. Sure, they have the issues,
right?
Their loyalty,
yes.
Their honor towards leadership, I can appreciate that. I mean, some of the stuff look questionable now. But outside of the things that I find questionable, overall, I think okay, it's cool. It's cool to honor their leaders, but and from what I was told, all the churches paid off.
Yeah, and they've got restaurants and apartment buildings.
Yeah, they're owning property and stuff like that.
Like I said, their fruit over the last of their existence over the last 100+ years can definitely be seen.
A lot of people talking about them can't even pay a light bill. So I salute all that.
Credit with that, absolutely.
But
and we bless God for that.
Sweet precious daddy, sweet.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
So with the state of the church now, what would you say? And again, we won't solve this today because this is an ongoing issue. But how do you think we should approach these grandiose titles? I think we can agree that there are some places they're out of hand. What can we do? What how should we
I think
approach
we
this?
should stick to biblical titles,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I would say biblical or maybe even historical, depending on what they are. But all this extra grandiose stuff, sweet. I'm gonna be saying sweet like that for a minute.
oh my
Sweet,
gosh.
precious daddy. Nah, no,
Yeah,
no, no. I think we need to get at a break. Get at a rest.
absolutely. Well, listen, tell us down in the comments what you think. We definitely want to hear from you guys. We definitely want to get your opinions and comments in. And be sure to follow us over on IG at King and Queen Blair. And until next time on the F3 podcast, goodbye.